And speaking of watching out, and maybe doing a little bit too much, if we're being honest, we're going to move on to our second topic of the day. This is going to be my first penny of the day. Assassin's Creed Reddit says Ubisoft's statement exasperated the tedious discussion about shadows, warns users against disputing Yasuke's status as a samurai. This is from Wesley Ian Poole over at IGN, and it's important to note this is coming off of there was a apologetic statement released by Ubisoft in which they kind of apologized to Japanese players if they feel like their culture is being misrepresented and the appearance of characters like Yasuke are not accurate to the legends that they were basing them off of and so forth like that. I would say that's a waste of time. You shouldn't have done that. It's just a bunch of angry white men who are on the internet with some neckbeards and losers who are out here. Shut the fuck up. Play the fucking video game.
Possibly, I will say, yes, that's being over-exaggerated, this entire thing. Historical context does matter.
Oh, of course. I don't think from what I see and what I understand of the folklores and what I'm seeing in the marketing material of Assassin's Creed Shadows, they're not misrepresenting anything.
And they even say, well, we'll cover it.
Yeah, we're going to get there. Moving on. The main Assassin's Creed subreddit has warned users against debating the historical accuracy of the upcoming video game Assassin's Creed Shadows, specifically protagonist Yasuke's status as a samurai. Moderators of r/Assassin's Creed, which has over 700,000 members, locked down a post titled, quote, "There is no debate. Yasuke was a samurai. If you disagree, you can do that somewhere else," due to brigading in the comments. The post followed a controversial statement issued by Ubisoft to Japanese fans in which the company apologized for promotional materials it said, quote, "have caused concern amongst the community." The 4-page message posted in both English and Japanese explained that Assassin's Creed Shadows is not intended to be a factual representation of history. Instead, it is designed as a, quote, "compelling historical fiction set in feudal Japan." Ubisoft added that it hoped Shadows would spark curiosity in players who then research the historical period the game is inspired by. In addition to the apology regarding the marketing materials, the message also discussed Yasuke, one of the Shadow's two protagonists. Quote, "While Yasuke is depicted as a samurai in Assassin's Creed Shadows, we acknowledge that this is a matter of debate and discussion. We have woven this carefully into our narrative and with our other lead character, the Japanese shinobi Naoe. Naoe?
Naoe, yeah.
Naoe, yeah.
By the way, I think it's...
Oh, that's wrong. Mm-hmm. Damn it. Fuck. I pressed the wrong one.
Uh-oh.
Anyways, hey, I've been talking the whole time. Who is equally important in the game. Our dual protagonists provide players with different gameplay styles. While Yasuke has often been presented as a samurai in popular media, both in Japan and beyond, his depiction in Shadows has given rise to debate regarding the historical truth. The argument has lived side by side with criticism over Ubisoft's decision to feature a black man as a lead protagonist in a Japan-set Assassin's Creed game. A backlash Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot alluded to while condemning, quote, "malicious and personal online attacks." The statement noted that the Assassin's Creed series has always taken creative license and incorporated fantasy elements into its historically inspired settings. The, quote, "the representation of Yasuke in our game is an illustration of this. His unique and mysterious life made him an ideal candidate to tell an Assassin's Creed story with the setting of feudal Japan as a backdrop." Now, I'm going to say it quite fucking plainly. Assassin's Creed has never been historically accurate. Assassin's Creed has always taken wide leaps with its storytelling and what was happening. In fact, there are, it is, I think, very telling of the fan base of this game that they're getting mad at this game because of this character and who that character happens to be, versus when you reach over to literally any other of the games. I mean, they've been fantastical and ridiculous and crazy for the last 3 games now. But now you have a problem because of this guy. Mm-hmm. And even the ones that are more historically accurate feature characters who are in locations who were nowhere near those locations in the time depicted. I'm talking specifically like Leonardo da Vinci in Assassin's Creed 2. He wasn't in fucking Venice.
He might have gone to Venice.
He wasn't even in Italy. So it's a ridiculous statement. I think clearly all of the backlash, all of the controversy is to put it bluntly, it's racists who are online and feel like they can have a platform to say something like this, and they have a very large voice because they're very loud and ignorant and stupid. And so it is important to call that part out from the jump. I think Ubisoft should have said nothing about this whole backlash from the jump. I don't think they are doing necessarily anything wrong. If someone of actual Japanese descent wants to correct me on that, that's fine. But I have not seen any issue from the Japanese community at all. In fact, I've seen a lot of Japanese people very, very excited for Shadows and very excited that Yasuke is getting represented in this game. So yeah. I think overall, it was a mistake to say anything. Kudos to the moderators of the Reddit thread who said, all right, that's enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's, it definitely comes down a lot from the racism, because there was clearly a reaction to that. There's that side and the people that complain about the history aspect. Because Yasuke, my knowledge of him is that I used to think I knew, relatively his story, but turns out there's a lot of, debate of what exactly he did, his specific
Yeah, it's
role.
a folklore story. There's different interpretations of it.
Which why it makes sense. Well, it's not. It's an actual guy. By all accounts, he was an actual human
Yeah,
being,
but the folklore ran away with it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's why it's, primed to make a character who you can do really anything with. Because there is, I'd have a bigger issue with the historical display of certain characters if we really know a lot of who they are.
Yeah.
Obviously, certain exceptions are for Assassin's Creed, because it is fantastical. You jump off an Odyssey cliffs and smash the ground with take no damage and creating a giant shockwave.
In Assassin's Creed 2, you fought the Pope who used a weapon of Eden against you. And what are we doing? What are we talking about?
So this is not the game for you to be making those arguments. You could have, you could have done this in Ghost of Tsushima for its historical stuff. Not this, not Assassin's Creed. It's really just overblown to hell.
Yeah.
These criticisms of Yasuke as the character would only be valid if he was the only protagonist. Because it'd be weird if you have all of these mainline
I don't even think then.
No, it definitely would be. Because you have every single Assassin's Creed, by nature, it's the person who generally is from the country or area.
Oh, you're saying because it's the first time we're going to Japan, we should have a Japanese character.
Yeah, it'd be really weird to be we're not going to have that.
For representation purposes.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand that argument.
Which there is somebody like that. It's the Naue character.
Yeah. So, who's the one I'm going to be playing as most of the time anyway,
Yeah, because you're a weak, sneaky pussy.
I mean, you say that, but you're the one who's going to be taking damage and getting hit and shit.
Yeah.
And they're never even going to know I was there.
Exactly.
You
Pussy.
know?
That's the point. You're smarter.
Yeah.
But I'm better.
No.
Anyway, the point is, there's really no issue here at all.
No.
Besides, unless you're really, really, really he's not, historically, he wasn't a samurai. He technically wasn't. You can have that debate amongst yourself. I don't know, nor do I particularly care, because there's not much else about the guy.
My understanding is it's the racist, samurai was not his official title, quote unquote, but it was my understanding, and I think this is the part I'm wrong about, is it's not possible for an outsider to gain the title of samurai.
To my knowledge,
but they had another word for it that is synonymous to samurai.
It's probably retainer, I'm assuming.
That was the word that got used. Yeah.
Yeah. I've always equated that and samurai with being the same thing.
Yeah.
Samurai was a caste of, of civilization, of society, kind of like knights, for example.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean they were just combat-focused people, but they were a part of a hierarchy. Whether he was part of that hierarchy or not, I don't know. For the purposes of Assassin's Creed, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it's just...
I mean, for the purposes of Western perspective, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Just of how Americans think and work, it's synonymous.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a huge non-issue. It doesn't dampen my excitement for the game. I'm excited for this one. I think this one looks good. I think we're going to get a real banger out of Assassin's Creed Shadows, and I'm excited to play it. But it does dampen my excitement to talk about it. It dampens my, we put out our impressions preview review of the Concord beta. I didn't even know that game was controversial for the reasons that it is, which is ridiculous. So our comments are flooded with a bunch of, go woke, go broke, pronouns. Y'all sound like fucking morons, by the way. And it's really disappointing that happened on a game that isn't hyped. I am certain our review of Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to get filled with a bunch of bullshit-ass comments.
It might, but I think this is very much a minority. Concord has the backing of the fact that it doesn't have really a lot of energy behind it right now.
Nobody's excited for Concord.
with Assassin's Creed, people always are going to be. And just like how that is always going to bring its crowd of people like this who take a big issue with, the historical context or the racial context of the character of Yasuke. But I think that's going to be overwhelmed by people who just want to play the game and like the game.
Yeah, I'm fucking excited.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I think it's gonna. We got potential for another banger of the Odyssey. Level.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that we've learned a lot of lessons from our adventures with Odyssey and Valhalla. I'm glad Mirage exists and was able to kind of give us the confirmation of like, yeah, okay, we're moving on. Like that was not what it's not what people want. As much as the outcry online is, clearly it's not interesting, right? So yeah, I'm very, very excited for them to go guns blazing and really show what they've learned over the development of these last couple of games.
Yeah.